Hi, I'm Ralph Preston. We meet every week, usually on Tuesdays. The last few weeks we've been meeting on Wednesdays because Rachel Jarmusz has been kind enough to do 4 yoga classes with us. So this would be number 3. And that's about it for me. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Rachel. So Rachel, take it away.
Hi. Okay. So last week we learned our alternate nostril breath. The first week we did our 3-part belly breath. Today I'm very excited to get into what is called Ujjayi. It is spelled Ujjay. So it's Ujjayi. And the breath itself is an ocean breath or a breath of victory. It's kind of an exciting breath pattern, but I'm going to demo it really quick for you guys here, and then we'll go back. And this is one breath pattern that I'm going to remind you to go back to in the poses, right? It's a good way to get a bit deeper with your breath. It also is referred to by many as Darth Vader breath. So if you're a Star Wars fan, you might know the way Darth Vader breathes. It's like right? You hear that? So basically everybody can take their hand and go like you're fogging up a mirror, right? That contraction is what makes we're doing that though with the mouth closed. So you're not actually going with an open mouth. What you're doing is you're inhaling through the nose, exhaling with that constriction so that it's like, right? So everybody just try it on their own for a second. It might take you a little bit to kind of get used to it. You can put a finger in your ear or a finger in both ears if you're not hearing any sort of vibration to kind of cue you to get, you know, like when you put your ear to a seashell, you hear that. It's like white noise, right? Well, what we're doing is we're creating that white noise ourselves so that we can calm the nervous system, relax the body, and get into, like what I said, a deeper place in our postures. So if you ever get into a posture and you feel like it's hard to find the breath, try the Ujjayi because it will help clear the way, sort of, so to speak. Like it's like a bulldozer that pushes stuff out. So I'm gonna go back to my chair and actually move this back a bit. And let's see, that's good, yeah. Okay, so we're here, we're all seated in our chairs. Our hands are just gonna be on our lap to start with. And you'll find those sitting bones, right? Find your butt bones. Do a little wobble. Come to center. And maybe even slightly lean back. I know there's maybe a bit of anticipation sometimes. And when we sit, we can be a little forward. But try to bring yourself back into a tall posture with both feet grounded on the floor, right? We're just gonna sit. Find your center. Notice if you're favoring one side or the other. Close your eyes when you're ready and find that Ujjayi breath. We'll do just a round of 4 here. You can cup the ears or plug the ears if that's helpful. And you might also notice with that Ujjayi that it's like you're forcing that last bit of exhale out, and your diaphragm is really pushing that last breath out, right? That's kind of what it's intended to do. So you might feel your core start to get tight. That's normal. Go with it. Feel the kind of victory that this breath brings to the body, right? It's kind of cool. I will remind us to use the breath as we move, but if you think of it and you like this, use it all the time now. You can use it whenever. Like, there's no doing this breath too much or any pattern that it will hurt or anything. You can put it in anything that you do. Beginning here with the head, we're gonna start by taking that ear over to the shoulder. Let your opposite shoulder relax. So we'll go to the right or the left. You can go whichever way you want. Just remember to go both ways. And you're relaxing the opposite side, right? So it's like the opposite part of you is getting all that breath. You might let your arms hang at your sides, or if you're not there yet, the arm can just be kind of here. Then take your head back to center and go to the left, or the opposite side of what you just did. Come on back to center. And let's go to the right one more time, this time with an option to hold at the head here, bringing the ear a little closer to the shoulder. I myself cannot really use my left hand, but if you are using your left hand here, you can place the left hand on your ear and press gently to release the head a bit more. Take yourself to center and do the opposite side. Really nice place to use the Ujjayi. Releasing the hand onto your lap here. Let your head just roll to the other side. And then roll back. Start a little crescent moon when you're ready. Letting the head be kind of heavy, right? It's like you can go all the way around if you want. Again, use the Ujjayi. allowing the breath to be your guide through this. It's like the breath is your tour guide. You're not leaving without your tour guide. You're waiting till the tour guide says, come on, let's go. And so the breath is leading you here around and down. And then at some point, switch your direction, right? Let yourself go the other way. And I always kind of say you could always take a hand to the neck, massage as you come around, pause, any places you feel like you're tight. And then the next time you pass through center, and you don't have to rush to get there, right? Let it be natural. Let your head just rest. Let your gaze stare down at your thighs. Close your mouth and breathe in from the nose, out from the nose. Noticing maybe a bit of extension through the cervical spine, a bit of relaxation through the upper back. You could shake your head no here, or nod your head yes, or take that hand to massage anything that feels tight or tense. We'll be here for a few more breaths. And bringing the arms across the body, grabbing onto opposite elbows, or at least holding on to something, maybe just pressing in towards the belly with the arms. Exhaling your breath nice and deeply here. We're going to find our first pose, which is pretty consistently been child's pose, right? So we press down into the feet, come forward with the arms, and come down onto the thighs. Rearrange your butt. The butt often has to go back a bit, right? Giving you some space here to breathe. Just kind of looking at the floor. Beautiful. If you're on a mat, a full child's pose is really the same thing. I kind of always say that it's about this coming here closer in, and the head just staying at neutral. So it's not down nor up, just relaxed. Now today we're also going to do a little bit of our sun salutations, which is a bit more of getting the whole body moving. So we're going to get out of this a little bit differently today here by lifting the head forward, bringing the shoulders up. And if you have the ability, pull your arms wide. Reach to the walls that are next to you and let the head extend a little bit forward. If it's just one arm that's moving out, move one arm out. Feel it from the collarbone, right? Extend wide with the heart. Breathe. And if you have the ability, take your arms up, reach up, look up, and bring your palms together and release them at your heart. I'm going to spend a moment here interlocking the hands. So if you have the ability, interlock the fingers. You can come to a full fingers, all 10 fingers interlock, or your fingers extended, palms pressed together, whatever your body is doing today, right? And breathe here. You might drop down into the sternum, letting that wrist relax. More at the heart center and lifting the elbows up. Eagle pose here. We'll close in the arms, meaning they're just drawing together. We don't have to get them like here. And if you actually do this for a second, bringing them all the way together, notice how that creates a bit more tension, right? By doing this, we're actually creating tension that we don't really want. So let there be a little bit of a gap between the arms and notice how that just kind of relaxes your shoulders. Breathe and then go ahead and come up to like your shoulder height and hold. Just shoulder height, arms together, elbows doing their best to stay moving towards each other instead of moving away, but not touching. So it's like, I realize it's kind of like a fine line, right? I'm like, you want me to bring my arms together, but not together, but not fanning out, because the moment you start to come up, the elbows are gonna go out, right? And what we're trying to do here is draw them in and hold without going outside the bounds of the body. Now remember, you can find your eagle here, grounded through both feet. You can take your eagle higher by looking up and arching back, or by lifting a leg. Exhale, come down and round the spine, like the forearms are gonna meet the thighs. And let the head release. Try to avoid putting a lot of weight down, because again, the minute you kind of plop down, the body is tight again, tense. We want to keep it free and loose. And breathing, of course. So we're going to do a second round here of eagle by coming up. And maybe this is your eagle. You're holding, you're breathing. Maybe you come up and arch back. Maybe the opposite leg lifts. And exhale, round yourself forward. Inhaling, coming up. Hands are going to come back to the heart. Pause and breathe. Now let's just spend one moment on our feet. Notice your feet. Notice what your feet are doing. And possibly place your feet down on the floor like you're setting a table. Let your big toes line up. Let your heels line up. Let your feet firmly press down if they can. Sometimes we add weights to the feet if they have trouble staying on the floor. You could consider that for yourself if that's an issue. If not, you're just breathing here, noticing your feet. We're going to take a little stir of a pot. So you'll start to stir with your hands, noticing your feet as you come forward. Like there's no weight on the feet, no weight on the feet. Up, there's weight on the feet. Weight on the feet, no weight on the feet. Weight on the feet. You can make these circles as big as you want them to be. You can really stretch out if that feels nice. Or if the arm is more limited, you may just be kind of here doing a little back and forth, doing a little side to side, doing a little something. Remember, it's not about how big the movement is. It's really just kind of about the intention behind the movement and the breath. So even if you were just sitting here, breathing, you'd still be doing what all of us are doing here. It doesn't matter what it looks like, right? And the mind is not going to like that. But that's kind of the yoga, right? Switch your direction. And let your hands slowly come to a stop, center of the chest, and pause. Now again, we're getting into more of our sun salutation, so we're gonna add kind of a cool little stretch here for the arms. You wanna be about hip distance with the feet, so you have a nice space in between your legs, and you'll draw your arms forward. Keep the elbows in line with the knees and reach forward and pull back in. And reach forward. Again, you can, if the arm is not moving, you'd be more like this. Shoulders forward, hands at heart, hands on the belly, hands on the lap, but you're still moving from your collarbone forward and back. But if you can extend, you'll extend forward, reach and kind of let the head come in between the arms. And then pull back in. And forward, reach, and pull back in. It's so cool really because it's almost like your elbows are coming in and locking into the ribs here, right? They come in really straight in. They want to do this, right? They want to go wide because that's easier for the body, right? The body will always find the easiest pathway. We challenge it a bit here to keep the elbows in, draw into the ribs to the side body, and then forward again. Now you can keep doing this, or you can reach down in between your legs and back up. You can even make a combination of both, like forward, down, and up. Or down, forward, and back in. It's actually really nice here. I'm kind of like a big fan of using the body to heal the body, right? So when you're here, you can use your legs to press in to the arms so that the arms straighten, right? You can see how when my knees go out, my elbows are gonna go out. My knees go in and it squeezes my arms together and reach down, drop the head. And then to come on up from this, we're gonna come forward and keep coming up and reach up. Then hands to the heart. We'll do that one again. Exhaling the breath, coming down or forward, releasing the head. Releasing the breath. And inhaling, reaching forward, coming up as much as you can. And then releasing to the heart. Undo your arms or your hands. Let your hands come down. Give your arms a little wiggle, little shake. If you can, even if it's just like you're manually doing the other arm to shake it and wiggling the dominant arm. And then we'll walk our feet in. Give ourselves more of a closed in posture here. Feet together as much as they can be. Sitting bones grounded. We'll start to cat-cow a little bit here. So we're gonna put our emphasis on the pelvis, almost like a roll of paper that they used to have it like in schools, how the paper where you would like pull it in, it's like a roll. So it's almost like you're rolling that pelvis back and sitting back a bit in your chair. Let your shoulders round up towards your ears and let your arms maybe come onto your lap or towards your knees, towards your hips, and just sit a moment. It's like a slouchy teenager, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Give yourself a moment to breathe. And then like that roll is coming forward, you're gonna roll the pelvis forward, tip it forward, lift the head, and let your shoulders come wide. You might even let your elbows, dare I say, be outside the bounds of your body here. Wide, 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 wide. And then do it again. Drop down and pull back. Slouchy teenager. Nice big exhale. And then inhale, forward, forward, forward. Tip that pelvis forward. Lift the head. Let the collarbone expand. And let your elbows be a bit wide. Belly pressing forward a bit. Back arching. And exhale. Bring it in. I like the adding the sound effects of you're kind of whooshing everything in like a corset might be tightening on your abdomen here. And our last seated cat here. It's like that Halloween cat with the hunched up shoulders and the teeny tiny little belly. Last cow here, coming forward, lifting up and letting the elbows fan wide. Use the Ujjayi. Now from cat or from cow, the belly is forward, the back is arched. We're gonna come back just to neutral. So we're not gonna pull all the way back into a cat, but we're gonna come from cow into neutral. And again, notice that tightening. It's literally like a corset tying on your waist, bringing the body back to neutral and sitting for just a moment. Practicing our hip hinging here, we're going to take one forward fold before we get into the warrior two posture, right? So the hip hinge is this guy, right? Your hands are going to be wherever. Your arms can be at your sides here, and the shoulders are coming forward, and then the head is looking down. Then the head is looking up, and the shoulders are coming back. Or the arms can be on the lap. The arms can be at the knee, forward, pause, extend the spine, and send the head forward and back up, back. And do it again. Forward and back. Now, if you want to, you can come forward, 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 and go down, releasing the head. It's very similar to our child's pose when we're here, except what happens is the head releases and the spine rounds. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. You might be able to reach the floor. You might be more at the shins or more at the knees. Hands can rest on top of the feet. They can also go behind the ankles or like grabbing the chair legs. Use the Ujjayi here. Now our first real taste of a full sun salutation with the arms. Your hands are going to come onto the shins, onto the knees, or onto the ankles, and your head is going to extend forward in what we call our halfway lift, which is exactly what it is. It's halfway between down and up. We're halfway here. Breathing. Slightly looking forward at the floor in front of you. You're not like looking all the way forward because again, that causes more stress. So slight look forward. Then the arms come out and the body comes up and you reach up, maybe grab onto a wrist or your thumb and pull, reaching all the way up, pressing into the feet, looking up, maybe smiling. And exhaling, doing the reverse, coming down, 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 and releasing to a fold. We'll do that again. Coming up into our halfway lift. And remember, if the arms are not extending, you're either doing one arm or you're just doing the movement without the arms, right? Because it doesn't really matter what the arms are doing. Although I know it does matter and we are concerned about it. So I don't mean to say it doesn't matter, but yoga is different for everybody. That's really important to remember. So if you're capable here, if you have the ability here, you'll send the gaze forward, take the arms out, bring the chest up, bring the arms up, out, grab, hold, pull, and we'll stay here for just a moment, grounding into our feet. Anybody that wants to do a slight little stretch to the side, you can lean over to the side, keep those sitting bones grounded, and then lean over to the other side. Come to center, and this is what we call our baby back bend. You're at center and you look up, smile. And now exhale, reverse, arms come down, chest comes forward, and head releases. Last one. Pressing the hands into the shins or the knees to extend the spine. Wake that core up. Send the head and the gaze forward. Send the collarbone out towards the side body. Maybe the arms come up. Maybe one arm comes up and the other arm is at the side. Reaching up, looking up. Do whatever you want here. Reaching up. Staying closer to the heart. Breathing here. You can still be here. I really have to emphasize that this, looking up, is the same as this, looking up. Same exact thing. The mind will tell you otherwise, but mind is often wrong. So this time, we're just going to gently release our hands down into our heart. And pause. You might have started to get real warm there. That's why it's called a sun salutation, right? We're building heat. We're honoring the sun and really honoring the sun within, our own metabolism, our own fire, Agni, internal flame. That's the point. So if you feel warm, awesome. Find the breath again. If you lost it, that's okay. And just pause to breathe. Your heart rate might be really fast right now. Again, that's the point. And then release both hands onto your lap. I'm gonna grab my phone to make sure I'm on track with my time. Yeah, we're okay. And warrior two here for our last few moments. I'm gonna talk us through a warrior two seated. Warrior one, if you guys remember, was like a step forward and a step back. So warrior one is very much in line with the hips and more of an opener for the heart and getting that core activation. Warrior two is like the complete opposite. It's a wide stance to the side. So to set up for it, we're gonna come wide with our feet and we're gonna place first our left foot in the center, facing forward. Then this guy is gonna come to the side. So we've got like this, 1 foot forward, 1 foot to the side. Spine is tall, arms are somewhere in the middle of the legs or on the outside. And you're seated. This is the pose. It's a hip opener, right? Warrior 2. It opens, you might press the knees open. Lift the heart of it. You can take it farther by moving this leg here or coming here, right? So this leg ultimately extends wide with this leg here, but this is the pose, right? So we find somewhere that works for us along the spectrum here, and we're opening the hips. Then arms come up. You're only at shoulder height. We're not going up here. I know it can be hard to tell. I'm gonna have to look at myself on camera to make sure this arm doesn't go up and that arm doesn't go down. But you're about here. Pressing into this front foot and pressing into the back foot. Sending your gaze over this middle finger. This is warrior 2 in the chair. So we'll find a little reverse warrior here for a nice stretch by taking the arm down, the left arm down to the left thigh, and taking the right arm up and over. Nice stretch for the arm and the shoulder here. And then release back to warrior 2 and breathe. Next week, we'll get into the revolve triangle, which is after you do your warrior, reverse warrior, you come down and the opposite arm goes up. You don't have time for that today, but next week that's on the agenda. Resting here, we're gonna release the arms down and walk ourselves out of it. Let your legs, let your inner thighs kind of relax, clamshell, maybe the knees. Now for the opposite side, I'm gonna kind of demo it standing. So if anybody wants to do it standing, I'm gonna talk us through it by coming up and by getting behind your chair. You want your chair here to be kind of a support system. And I'm gonna turn myself this way so that you guys can see me. But basically the same thing is gonna happen here. You're gonna step or plant your left foot forward and take your right foot out to the side. So it's 1 foot forward, 1 foot out, right? You can do this in the chair again, same thing. Left foot is forward, right foot is out. This is warrior 2, this, right? And really just this, standing, this. This knee is bent, this leg is straight, and you're breathing. If you want to make it wider, you can make it wider. This guy bends, this leg comes out, whether you're standing or in the chair, and then the arms come up. And you're here. Kind of like bending into that front knee. So looking over the front hand. That's a really important part of it because sometimes we look forward or sometimes we look down. We want to look over our front hand. Almost like we're about to like use a bow and arrow, right? We're very like warrior-esque here. Now our reverse warrior is gonna drop this hand and take this arm up. I know it's confusing. You might be like, what the heck arm did she just say? But the arm that's on the leg that's facing forward comes down to the thigh. The arm that was reaching forward comes up and over. Then you exhale, and this is almost like a cartwheel motion, right? You exhale yourself back through. Release the arms down to your sides. And then you might step forward if you're standing, or bring the legs in, do a little clamshell, do a little knee shake, a little booty wiggle. Get all that energy moving. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And now normally I would do a second round, but we're not gonna do that today because that's a lot. Warrior 2 is a lot. And we're gonna revisit it next week with the reverse triangle pose. So we'll get back into it, right? And you can practice it wherever you want now that you know the feet positioning here and the arm positioning there. But for now, we'll just come back into our chairs and let our feet be really wide. Maybe you're as wide as the chair. Maybe you're wider. Maybe you're more narrow. Wherever you are. Breathe. And now our final pose for today is gonna be a wide leg forward fold. So we did our hip hinging with our knees more together. Now we're wide. We're gonna give our hands a little access to the knees here and let the belly come forward. Then round the belly in, like a little cat-cow, right? Belly forward, round it in, belly forward, round it in, belly forward, round it in. Now hinge yourself forward. Let your elbows rest on your knees with a wide leg. And look at the floor. Butt might have to move back, right? Because like initially we kind of come into it and we might be a little like close in. Things are crimped up. Things are kind of like tight, right? But if you scoot your butt back, you get more room for the arms and the shoulders. Here. And we want to lengthen the spine before we come down into the fold. So you'll look forward, breathe in, and exhale, drop the head, release down. This can be your fold. Or you can come down in between your legs, drop the head. Or, I know I'm big on options, but you could come around the legs and hold here, dropping the head. Find that Ujjayi. Now, wherever you are, release your arms and start to pull your head, your chin closer into your chest. Round your shoulders and start to come up really slowly. Releasing the head, kind of almost without you even doing anything, right? And then walk your feet in. Give your knees a little bit of a bounce or a little tap, a little clamshell. And either sit yourself back in your chair, recline the legs forward, or take yourself onto your couch, the floor, a mat, and we'll find Shavasana, right? So like a nice, comfortable position, maybe a heavy breath out the mouth. And close your eyes. Finding stillness here is the goal. I know stillness is often hard. But kind of resisting those first few urges to move and just keeping the body still. Breathing. Noticing the thoughts in the head without attaching to them. They'll be there later when we're through. You can get back to them then. Right now, it's like you put that little do not disturb sign on yourself. And you're in Shavasana, resting, breathing. Noticing any sensations in the body and welcoming them. Noticing any thoughts within the mind and welcoming them. Not trying to do really anything. Doing another round of maybe 3 or 4 Ujjayi breaths here. And just ever so slowly bringing attention back into the physical body. You'll sit yourself up from wherever you were. And bring your hands back into the heart with the eyes still closed and the attention still inside. We'll seal in our practice here with that nice big breath. Maybe even 2, right? Sometimes you need a bit more. Moving the head around like you're saying no and yes. No and yes. And as always, it's my honor to share this practice with you. The divine light within me honors that divine light within you. Namaste.